Welcome back, everybody, to GG Gaming. I am your host, Andrew, and with me, as always, it seems, from now on, Kiba.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we actually did our last recording on Sunday,
Yep.
because we were kind of late to the party last week. We left off last week, or Sunday, with some topics we want to cover, and I don't quite remember them offhand. There were some games. Some things we want to discuss before we jump into the new discussions I want to talk about.
Well, I don't remember what games we were going to talk about. Sonic Boom was one of them, which we'll talk about that. But Pokemon,
I remember Sonic Boom, Metal Gear,
Naruto.
I think Kingdom Hearts. I don't remember.
I don't remember, but I mean, I can talk about Kingdom Hearts
Me
if
too,
need be.
Metal Gear. What's your opinion on Phantom Pain?
Phantom Pain? Oh, I think it's Kojima's masterpiece, being his swan song with Konami. I do think that honestly, it's one of the better games that came out last year.
Yeah.
It stays true to some of the old Metal Gear feels, but at the same time, it has its own signature to it. I've always been a fan of Metal Gear Solid, so seeing Phantom Pain finally come out, I was really excited about it. The prologue for me of the game was a little slow, but I like the idea of introducing the open world aspect of things and all that good stuff. So my personal opinion, I really don't have any major thoughts on it. I mean, the way I see it is that it's just another game that I can enjoy and have fun with, but at the same time, it was Kojima's last piece with Konami, and I can't wait to see where he goes with Sony. So
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's gonna do something similar to the PT that they were doing.
well, I mean, it was supposed to be, that was, the PT was a Silent Hill trailer.
I know, but they can easily make it its own thing.
Well, no, what I'm saying, though, it's supposed to be. It wasn't like PT, like, it's hard to explain what I'm trying to say. PT was the playable trailer for the new Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
And so that was just a tidbit of Silent Hill. So it's not like it's already its own thing. It was. It just, now that Konami's like, no, Sony will definitely buy the rights to it, I'm sure, or, they'll come up with something similar. But I am almost 100% positive that they're going to bring back Silent Hills, and I hope they do.
I wish that Sony would buy Metal Gear.
They definitely could. I mean, they have more money than Konami at that point, and
I really hope they do.
technically it's Kojima's story. There's there's legalities to that they could easily bypass. So
Right.
What do you think of Phantom Pain?
I've heard the complaints, and I understand them. Like, a friend of mine was complaining how it was really slow, and the open world felt very empty. And, listening to those complaints, they make sense, and I can agree with those. But I absolutely loved the game. I just, I S-ranked every mission and got the Raiden outfit, and I just couldn't put it down. There was just something about the gameplay that I was just so into it. It was just so much fun. The gameplay of it was perfect. It was, in terms of the gameplay, it was the perfect Metal Gear game.
Uh-huh.
I can understand the backgrounds and everything being so open. There was a lot of reusing and backtracking that I can see that got annoying. I'm trying to remember the complaints that my friend had. He was complaining about how the story was so, like, between, like, the story cutscenes were so far and in between that he felt like he was doing the same thing over and over again, which, it's understandable, but I really enjoyed it. I loved the Phantom Pain. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's just a matter of opinion.
Yeah. I mean, like your friend said, I did get a lot of complaints from people too that it was slow and all that kind of stuff. But it really just is depending on how you feel about the game and if you liked them. Honestly, the Metal Gears were slow in the begin with, just because it was a matter of its stealth and you have to be really patient if you're going to play it the right way. But I do agree that it was really slow for the first part of the game, but it was great nonetheless.
Yeah. And how about the other topics that... Oh, Sonic Boom. You don't like the cartoon?
I don't like any of it.
How do you not like the cartoon?
Okay, here's the thing, is like, today I have a big thing. I feel like I could teach a class on some of these things. But there's a certain formula to make something great. And when it comes to cartoons nowadays, there's only a few that that appeal to all audiences. And you know, there's a difference between making a children's cartoon that appeals to children, and adults. So like Adventure Time, Steven Universe, Gravity Falls, stuff like that really pushes the envelope without being with dumb jokes or being like playing to a younger audience. It keeps it within the realm of a neutral standpoint. Like anybody could pick it up and be like, wow, this is actually really interesting. That's the kind of formula Pixar has, and it's the kind of formula Disney has. It's not necessarily geared towards children, but that's their main audience. Now, when it comes to modern day cartoons, you know, there's some that just don't hold up, and they try to redo a lot of already established franchises and change them to make them edgier and more modern to kids. Hence, the new Powerpuff Girls is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible.
Beat me to it.
Yeah, new Powerpuff Girls. The new Teen Titans is terrible.
But somehow the new Teen Titans is one of the most popular shows.
But here's why, is because the audience they're playing to are kids that aren't really necessarily keen to the older stuff. They know that the people that are watching it weren't around the time then those came out and were enjoying them as they came out. Now, with Sonic Boom, Sega has been having lots of trouble lately with keeping Sonic above water. Honestly, their games are terrible.
Not all of them.
Most of the recent ones, I'm going to have to disagree with you. And
Lost World was okay.
No, it was not.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
It was okay.
No.
It had its problems.
No, it had its problems. The problem being is not a Sonic game. The way I see
Generations was amazing.
Generations was okay, yeah. But I'm talking about they're trying to revitalize a brand in the wrong way. They're not appealing to all audiences. They're not appealing to the old audience that loved, 2D Sonic and the different characters sticking true to their, characteristics. They're just staying to this new formula. Knuckles looks terrible. They make him an idiot. Sonic's cool thing is he has a bandana. No. Okay. No. You can't call it a spinoff and then say it's okay. That's not what it is. It's the same character. Spinoffs, if it's going to be a spinoff, it has to follow a certain character, like different from Sonic. You can't call it Sonic Boom and then say it's a spinoff. It's not. It includes Sonic, it includes Knuckles, it includes Tails.
It's a different Sonic, That's like saying that's like comparing the old cartoons to each other, and then wondering how certain family members are different in each cartoon. It's like, well, it's a different version of it.
When you say that, what do you mean?
Like
an example.
In Sonic Underground, his mother was the queen, and he had two siblings. But that's only in that universe.
Oh, okay, so it's not a spin-off. That's not what a spin-off is.
Boom, I guess I'm treating Sonic Boom as an alternate universe, an alternate continuity.
But even still, in those different universes, those different timelines, the characteristics are the same. Sonic,
no,
yes,
apparently not.
But apparently not. That's why I'm saying I don't like Sonic Boom, is because they tried to make it different and they failed.
I thought they succeeded.
I disagree.
It's really popular though.
Yes, like I said, it's going to be popular to a different audience, and there's different shows that are very successful that appeal to all audiences. When I see Sonic Boom, I see this is for children.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. Writing wise, joke wise, I'm like, I don't want to be watching my childhood, like, nostalgic childhood characters making dumb jokes or being completely useless. And that's the type of thing I don't like Sonic Boom. And that's my opinion, because that's what we're going towards in media now, is it's trying to apply to all these kids that are not doing the same thing as the older generations did. They're not going out and buying the new Sonic game. They're not going out to watch the new Sonic TV show. They're not going out to buy Nintendo consoles. They want first-person shooter, dumb jokes, all that kind of stuff. They have to appeal to the selling audience. Yeah. So that's why I don't like Sonic Boom, is because they're selling out to a demographic that's not going to give a shit. So, they don't have their own money
but
to
they're
go
making
out.
money off of it,
That's
unfortunately.
that's what I'm saying. I didn't say they weren't.
Yeah, all right. I
That's
agree with
my
you
thing.
from that perspective that
I
it's a
just don't like
sellout.
it. I don't like it. I think that it's if they could have done it in a tasteful way, then yeah. But they did too much too soon. And, they're trying really hard to revitalize it, and it's just not working. So that's my opinion on Sonic Boom. And I understand you really like it, so I mean...
I just think it's funny.
See, I don't.
So yeah, I just see it as something that tied me over until like the real Sonic continues.
Well, see, that shouldn't be what it is then. Because from
Yeah.
when we were talking about it before, it seemed like, it seemed like when you were trying to defend it, it was for a different reason rather than just, it tides me over.
No, but I really do enjoy it.
But if you have to say it tied you over, is that really being successful? Because it should be something you're like, yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to.
I do look forward to it though.
Okay.
I guess I kind of exaggerated when I said tides me over in order to just be like, yeah, whatever. But I actually do honestly enjoy it.
Okay, and that's fine. Like, I'm not saying you
I
shouldn't.
prefer the actual original Sonic though.
See, that's the thing. Is like you prefer it. Like,
Yes.
for example, I don't like this at all, so I can't be like, oh yeah, I watch it, but I prefer the other one. If I don't like it, I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to give in. I'm not going to give in to that.
But the other one doesn't have a TV show.
I know. So I'll watch
It
reruns of it.
should.
So, like, you can't go here and be like, oh, they still make a lot of money, which is sad. The reason they make a lot of money is because you sit there and watch it and you buy their games. You're supporting a cause. You said you played Lost World and all those other games.
I buy the main Sonic.
That Lost World is still a part of that same realm.
I bought that, and I somewhat enjoyed it. You see, my problem with Lost World was it had some problems. I think one of the major problems that I found was the gameplay was kind of crappy. Like if you wanted to run somewhere, it was so like Sonic. I think it was in Generations, and which one was it? I'm not sure if Unleashed did this, but there were some Sonic games where if you're running really fast, Sonic just automatically runs straight, and you can press L or R in order to move left or right, and that was good, I thought. And Sonic Lost World didn't do that. So you could be running really fast, and then you'll be running through like the insides of like tube-like tunnels, and the controls were just so wacky. Like, they just didn't work.
Well,
the story was okay for like just a classic Sonic story. But the difficulty, it was difficult. It was very difficult for the wrong reasons because of the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like the controls.
Yeah, I get that.
So.
But my personal thing is I just don't, until I feel like there's a Sonic game or series that stays true to the old formula while also appealing to the new audiences, then that I won't be buying anything from it. Because in the first place, I wasn't really a Sonic fan to begin with. Mm-hmm. I didn't become a Sonic fan until I started playing, like the original Sonics on my Sega, and playing them again later in life on like my I think GameCube, like Sonic Heroes and stuff like that. And those games I had fun with because I could just sit there and play them and be like, yeah, this is great, and have fun and still feel a challenge like the old Mega Man formula. But I can't force myself to play something I know I'm gonna hate. And I played Lyric, I played Sonic Boom, I played Lost World.
I didn't even bother to play the Sonic Boom ones because I heard they were bad.
No, they're all terrible. Like,
although Fire and Ice like looks like it could be good.
No.
Though I don't know yet.
No, it's not good. It's not good. Fire and Ice, I'm pretty sure it's out. I'm almost positive.
Oh, it's out?
Yeah, I'm almost positive.
Oh, okay. Because I only know of what I saw back from when they were talking about it.
Yeah, it came out... Oh, the new Sonic Boom Fire and Ice? Yeah. I saw an announcement for that last year, and I think they were supposed to release it like early this year. Let me see when it does come out. Oh, it's scheduled. It got pushed again.
September 27th.
It got pushed again. It was supposed to come out like last month. I'm almost
September 27th.
okay, but even still, even if I don't know, I know because there's no way unless they really fine tune it and they're like, yes, this is great. I'm not going to believe it's good, and I'm not going to waste money playing it because I've already done that with 3 other games. So I need to see proof of how it's going to be first.
So if it's actually good, you would play it?
Probably, yeah. If it was really good and there were no major flaws with it and everything seemed all right, but I don't trust anything with Sonic Boom on it.
What did you think of Sonic 4?
Sonic 4. Let me think. I don't remember if I played that. Sonic 4.
See, the perfect Sonic game, in my opinion, was Sonic 3
4?
and Knuckles.
See, Sonic 3 and Knuckles was good. Yeah, I didn't play Sonic 4.
My problem... Sonic 4 was good, but the problem was the gameplay did not feel anything like the old ones. Mm-hmm. You kind of felt like you were stuck to the ground like molasses sometimes.
Well, yeah, and that's the problem is they really want to...
I think one of the things that I really stick with Sonic games, even when they're okay and they're not amazing, is because I really enjoy the lore of Sonic and learning more about that world.
Yeah.
That I kind of, even if I'm like slugging, even if I find one of the Sonic games like, this is okay, I stick with it because I want to know more about that world. Yeah. Especially as a huge fan of the comic by Archie. I like to see more of that world and wonder, okay, what can the writers tie this into? Like, how can this fit in with the comic down the line? You know, I kind of like to have that knowledge. And I'm just a huge Sonic fan, so sometimes I'll just like, oh, okay, I'll get through this game just to know more, which is bad, but I guess I'm feeding the disease.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong.
A good Sonic game. And I honestly thought Sonic Generations was amazing, but Sonic Lost World I thought was okay. You know, it wasn't like really good. It was just like, this is okay. This is like a poor man's version of Mario Galaxy, which I didn't even play.
That's exactly what it was.
I wanted to play Mario Galaxy real bad.
Super Mario Galaxy is great.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a hopefully inevitable collection on the Wii U.
It'll never happen! Here's why, is because people are still buying the old ones. And if you put a collection out, no one's going to want to buy it because that stops the sales. I mean, people are going to want to buy it, but it stops the sales of the other ones. And really? Mario has so many different games. Like, for example, that would be like saying you could put all the Legend of Zelda games so far and put them into a collection on one disc.
Not if you add stuff to it.
But that doesn't make it.
I mean, just look at how Resident Evil 4 was put on every single system.
But that's different. Here's the thing.
How is that different?
Because Resident Evil 4 originally you could only play it on 3 different systems. Now with all this new Resident Evil stuff getting remastered.
Oh no, I'm talking about when it was only on the GameCube and then eventually came out on the PS2 with.
No, I know.
With an extra scenario.
That's what I'm trying to explain. The reason being is that that's different when you say, oh, it's a re-release, a remaster for a different console. The reason being, the Wii U can play Wii games. And on top of that, if they release Super Mario Galaxy on the Wii U, people are not going to want to buy it because they already have it on the Wii. And on top of that, they're waiting for a new, different Mario game to play as well. They already just did their Nintendo Selects where they re-released it on the Wii for $20. Brand new copy.
I should get that.
Yeah, and so you can easily put that in your Wii U and be like, I'm done. Like, it doesn't change anything. It still looks amazing. But, like, you know, that would be like saying, there's a difference between, like, for example, like Kingdom Hearts, where they have so many games, and they're gearing up for a release of a new one. And so in order to do that, they release 1.5, they release 2.5, and then they release 2.8. And all those games, those are for people that haven't played the series on a PS2, and they want to play them on their PS3.
Or also for people who've played them before, because there's new features.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, it's not only... It plays, like, people, for example, not everyone bought a DS or a 3DS to play Kingdom Hearts on there. So there's a lot of games. Well, I did too, but there's not a market for that anymore. So they need to have something to tide fans over to keep them interested. That's what they would do. Mario releases a game every year. There's no need to re-release something that's already out to tide them over for the next one, because they're already playing, getting the high scores. Like Super Mario Maker is that game right now. It tides them over until they get another Mario game, and there's no
Super Mario Maker is just gonna always be relevant.
Yeah, and that's what's good about Nintendo, and that's what I'm trying to say, is there's no need to re-release something that's already good, that you can still play on all your consoles. That's the thing. It's like, you can't play Resident Evil 4 on an Xbox One, but now you can, because that's where it's going. Nintendo has the thought process to be like, let's make our consoles always backwards compatible, most of the time. So when you think about it, Wii U can play all Wii games. There's no need to re-release that. People are still playing those games, getting both games for that console. Xbox One is backwards compatible. Sure, you could play Resident Evil 5 or 6, but they re-released 6 because they didn't want to make it backwards compatible, so they could buy more money. They re-released 4 so they can buy more people in. That's the reason for that. That's not because they're like, oh, it'll tide you over to the next one. No, that's because they want more money and introduce a new audience to Resident Evil.
I'm not saying to re-release the Super Mario Galaxies to tide you over. I'm saying because I want to play them.
Well, then literally all you got to do is just buy the Wii copy.
You know,
why spend $60 on Super Mario Galaxy remastered if you can just play the same exact game for $19-20?
What about Skyward Sword?
Same thing.
Yeah, but I said this last week, where I don't have the Wii Remote Plus.
Then it's more, like I told you last time too, it's less expensive to buy Skyward Sword and a Wii Remote Plus than would be buying a Wii Remote Plus.
I feel like it wouldn't be.
But here's the thing, Skyward Sword is never going to get remastered for the Wii U. It might get remastered for the NX.
Maybe.
But honestly,
I think it'll eventually get remastered, period. But
honestly,
I don't know for what.
Honestly, what I would do, since it makes sense to do this too, the little adapter for Wii Remote Plus is $12. So just plug that into your Wiimote and you're good to go.
Yeah, I know. I want that.
So, I mean, cost-effective wise, that's less expensive because you can just buy the little thing instead of buying a $30, $40 remote.
You know, initially I was holding off on playing Skyward Sword because I really wanted the special edition that came with the Wii Remote Plus.
Yeah.
And it was just way too expensive, and I was just like, I held off on it. And I think that's why I'm kind of hoping that it'll be re-released, because I want to have, like, the version to play when I play it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, honestly, Skyward Sword looks great in general. It's just like Twilight Princess. It looks slightly better, but it's just, just takes away the motion controls a bit. There isn't really an HD feel to it, besides the fact that it's on a 1080p console.
I would really love for them to, and it looks like they're starting to go in this direction, but I would really love for them to start releasing Game Boy Advance and Super Nintendo game. Well, they started doing the Super Nintendo games. I'd really like for them to start releasing Game Boy Advance games on the 3DS, because I really want to play Minish Cap, but I don't want to play it on the Wii U. I want to play it on my 3DS.
I was going to say, it's on the Wii U.
I know, but I want to play it on the handheld like it's supposed to be. I don't want to blow it up on the TV.
I don't know. I like it.
I'd rather
I like
play
the
it
fact
in
that I
bed.
can play it whatever. Well, I mean, with the Wii, you're technically holding a handheld console. You can watch it on your tablet. You don't have to have it on the TV.
I know, but you have to be within a certain distance from the TV.
But I mean, if you're in bed and you can play
My Wii U's in the basement.
Oh, see, then that's the problem. See, I have it next to my...
Yeah, if it was in my room, I would totally do that. But I can't even bring it up on the next floor. I'd have to play it in the basement.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you never know what they'll do. If they bring Game Boy Advance on the 3DS, that'd be awesome. But
you mean the other way around? But I know what you're talking about.
What? Game Boy Advance on the 3DS? That's what I said.
I thought you said 3DS on the Game Boy Advance.
No, I didn't.
Maybe I interpreted it that way.
Maybe.
But
you would need to buy. Everyone would need to buy the new Nintendo 3DS in order to do that. That's the only way you can play Virtual Console NES games.
Because they have Minish Cap on the 3DS as the Ambassador program when you first bought it, and they don't have it available anymore.
Yeah, and
I'm just like, okay, you have it. I just give it to me. I want to play it.
I mean, I'm sure
I need to play Minish Cap, Skyward Sword, Phantom Hourglass. I said this last time.
Yeah, you did.
Spirit Tracks and Four Swords Adventures.
Just
Four Swords
buy
Adventures.
Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks on the DS and put it in your 3DS and you're
I'm
good.
gonna do that. Though that I'm gonna do.
Skyward Sword, buy a Wii Motion Plus adapter and get it on your Wii. And there you go, because you're the only person who's delaying you playing that game is you.
Yeah. What about Four Swords Adventures?
I don't know. You'd have to figure out another way.
I have to play it on the GameCube,
which
I would do.
I bought a GameCube again, $30.
I wanted to get the. I don't know what's with me and getting limited editions, but I really wanted to get the limited edition of it. It looked so sexy, and I was just like, "Yeah, I want to get this special edition or limited edition, whatever it's called." But I couldn't find it anywhere. And my neighbor has it, and I was like, "Yo, I'll buy it from you," and he's like, "No,
no, huh?
$333 for it. I don't think so."
Yeah, see, that's not worth
I'm
it.
just poking around on eBay. Four Swords Adventures. It doesn't have to be. I might just buy a normal version and play it on the GameCube. But yes, Four Swords Adventures. What GCN was? What was the GameCube's abbreviation? GCN, right?
GCN, yeah. What are you looking for right now in the middle of the podcast?
I'm just searching. I was just searching on eBay to look at prices for Four Swords Adventures and see what they're offering. But what else did we talk about last week that we would talk about this week?
Naruto, Kingdom Hearts.
Naruto. I love Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, and I have the DLC, and I haven't played the DLC yet, and I really want to, but I just haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
Did you play with the Sound 4 yet?
Yes, I did.
How are they?
Fantastic.
Really?
Yes.
I really gotta play that.
See, I bought, when Naruto came out, it was the day before my birthday, so I bought the limited edition of the game with the gold pop vinyl with the season pass.
Me too.
And I got like 5 posters because I was working at the store, so I just like got posters. And we got cosplayers to come to the 9 o'clock launch, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, no, I played the hell out of that game, and I could talk about it for hours if I had to.
Me too.
But why would we?
So
would we need
awesome.
to? What do we need to talk about? What are the topics for that game?
Whatever you want to talk about, I guess. It was so awesome.
Oh yeah, I mean Naruto games are always awesome.
People would disagree, but
those people that disagree are wrong.
I know.
Because I've played a bunch of anime games, and the only other ones that I've kind of enjoyed are One Piece, and I hate One Piece. And yeah, I hate One Piece. Don't get me started. This is a gaming podcast. I won't get started on One Piece. But you know, it's something that you have to look at from a standpoint of mechanics, graphics, and just all around storytelling. The Dragon Ball games I never liked. I thought they were just too complicated for the time that the ones came out, and even still the newer ones like XenoVerse was great. But I
didn't like XenoVerse.
Oh, I love XenoVerse.
The story is great. I'm actually watching a playthrough of it just so I can see the story, because I really appreciate that something new in the story. But I don't like the Tenkaichi Budokai play style.
Well, I don't like any of the Dragon Ball games, so this was nice for me because I was like, oh, something that actually has a story that doesn't really have to feed off the anime as much. And
I was just getting so frustrated with the gameplay in that game. I cannot play it.
Well, that's the thing is
dying. I struggled so much to get up to Frieza, and then he just kept beating me. I was like, this is not fun. And it wasn't a matter of get good. I couldn't get used to that playstyle. Like, Ultimate Ninja Storm is the 3D anime fighter in terms of controls.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The fact that Budokai Tenkaichi games are not like that, I just can't play them.
Well, the reason being is because everyone wants to say that Dragon Balls are better, but no. The gameplay of the Naruto games are way better. They've perfected them since the first few games on the GameCube.
That was a different company, I think.
But Bandai Namco still.
Yeah, but that was Clash of Ninja.
And well, I'm saying, like, even still, like, what I'm trying to say
is that they perfected it.
Like, let me finish.
Sorry,
So
I have a habit of interrupting.
it's
I noticed
okay.
last time. I noticed when I was listening to the podcast from last episode, I was like, I really gotta apologize to Kiba because I have a bad habit of interrupting people. Like I'll ask my friends have pointed it out to me that I'll ask a question, somebody will start answering it, and then I'll interrupt them to ask the question about their answer, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, that's one of my flaws.
I
So,
understand. I sometimes do the
so
same
you
thing.
can just tell me to shut up.
Okay, I'll tell you to shut up all the time. No, I'm just kidding. But with Clash of Ninja and all those games, they perfected a style that wasn't. They didn't want to try and be something they weren't, and Dragon Ball did that because they were like, we got to make it so completely true to the anime and just make it an all-around amazing, super duper crazy fighter. That wasn't the case. Like, everybody enjoyed the simplicity of Clash of Ninja, and I remember having it on the GameCube, and that would be the thing we'd play over Dragon Ball. Like, we'd play Dragon Ball too, but like we would always go back to Naruto because it was meant for a fighting game. Like, these ninjas, that's what they do, is hand-to-hand combat, and so do Saiyans and all that whole entire storyline. But there was a certain simplicity that belonged on the consoles in that genre of fighting. Hence why I like Xenoverse, is because they kind of went for more of an RPG style with Dragon Ball, where it fit. They still had the fighting aspect, but they also had the character creation. They had the whole storyline where you could basically change the story. But that's where that belongs. And I think with the Storm games, they perfected a style where they told the story to new audiences without having to go and watch the anime or go and read the manga. They allowed a new type of people to come in and enjoy a fighting game that wasn't like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, where you had to learn crazy combos. It brought anime to the forefront of fighting games, where you could jump in with your friends, quickly pick up the controls, and then fall in love with new characters and still follow the story without having to know it beforehand. And
Naruto did that?
Yeah, totally. I mean, every Storm game, you started from a certain story point and you went on, or you were allowed to go back and look at a summary of each episode and play through that fight. So, like, that's how the Storm games were. And so, like, with Ultimate Ninja Storm 4, you start during the war, but you can go back and play, or not Storm 4, I'm sorry. You start at, Revolution, or Ultimate Ninja Storm 3 Full Burst. You can start in the middle of the thing, but then you can also go back and start in original Naruto, play through all those major fights and get all the pieces without filler, and then go into Shippuden, play all those ones, and then catch up and play the story mode from then on. Most of my friends who didn't watch Naruto played the game with me, and they were like, I want to go watch this now because I feel like I can actually, like, pick up and, like, go back and be like, oh, this fight was cool, I can play this now. And it brings a whole new audience in that never was there in the first place. And that's what Naruto did. Plus, the graphics always look fantastic. They integrated, quick time events to make things a lot more challenging during the story mode. It's not just fight, dialogue, fight. You actually get pieces of cutscenes and you have to be active all the time. That's what a fighting game should be, in the sense of for anime, because anime is a storytelling medium, just like any video game or whatever. But when you try to adapt anime into a video game format, you have to bring something different that you're not just watching the show or mindlessly playing. You have to be a mix of both, but also enjoying it at the same time, being invested. Like, I played Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, and I, like, bawled my eyes out during some parts because I was like, I remember this in the anime, but actually playing it, for example, like Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, you had to play as Kushina, and she's trying to, like, walk through, like, the nine-tailed fox is attacking this village, and she's walking in her and Minato's apartment, and she's trying to, like, save Naruto, and she's, like, gets knocked over on the floor, and she's, like, critically injured. She can't reach her baby. Yeah. Like, that, you have to actually play that. That's insanity. Like, that's putting you in the anime. Dragon Ball doesn't do that, and the One Piece games kinda, but...
It's the reverse of what I was talking about last week, when I was saying when you adapt a video game to a movie, playing through some things is different than watching them.
Of course. But the thing is like, when you watch it first, like, it depends on the medium. Like, when we were talking about putting it into movie format, you have to keep what hooked people. Video games don't hook people because of gameplay most of the time.
Oh, I know.
It's mostly story. So, like I said before, it was a matter of, if you can translate the story accurately, then people are going to enjoy it. People are going to want to watch more. People are going to want to go see it again. People are going to want to buy the DVD. Same thing with games. If you watch the show and they know exactly what everything happens and you play the game and it's not exactly like that, people get upset. The cool thing Naruto did, especially with Ultimate Ninja Storm 3, they knew it wasn't over. So they created an ending to this war that would tide them over, saying, we know that this is not the real ending, but this is what could happen. And then when the manga finally ended, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 came out, and they were like, okay, now we've got the real ending. I hope you're ready for this. So that's the kind of thing. They don't need to make shit up just because they want to get more people to buy the game. They have to do it because they know that the source material is not completely done. They couldn't just end it being like, to be continued.
Which makes me wonder, they said that it was going to be the last Storm game.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes me wonder what they're going to do once Boruto gets
I don't think he's going to get his own games.
I hope he does.
I mean, here's the thing, is like, he's in Storm 4, he's a great character, I love playing as him. But I don't think the fans currently, because Masashi Kishimoto is not doing the art for Boruto, there's a fine line, I think, between what fans want and what fans need. And even though we really want a Boruto game, we don't need one. And that's because
eventually.
Well, not even eventually. I don't think I think Naruto has run its course in the sense of it can continue on with Next Generation. If a Next Generation game came out, yeah, I'd probably buy it. But I don't think it's the appropriate.
Especially if CC2 did it.
Well, yeah.
If CyberConnect 2 made a Boruto game, I would probably cry tears of joy.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'd be like, oh, this is beautiful.
Oh, of course.
Everything they touch is beautiful.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
But I don't think it's what the smartest move. I don't think it's their focus. They need to... The thing is that it's a process. We didn't get a Naruto game until, like, when the anime was partially done with, like, the first arc.
That's why I wouldn't expect a Boruto game for a long time.
Well, and honestly, who knows what, at this point, what we're going to get. They're going to have Boruto, and if it's not successful, it could get canceled. That's a thing. People are already upset about it because they're not happy with the new art style.
It's decent. It's not Kishimoto's art style.
That's
but
the thing.
It's its own art style, and I think it's pretty good.
Personally, I could care less for it. The thing I like is that I get to see these characters, but the thing is, it's weird because my personal point of view about Boruto is it had the potential to change characters, which it did. On top of that, though, there are still some characters I don't like, and there are characters that I love that I really don't like now. Like I don't like Naruto. And that's the thing, is like, you know...
Why not?
Well, because here's the thing. I understand the whole idea is like, oh, yeah, I'm Hokage now, so therefore, you know, I can't be there all the time for you and all that bullshit. But there's a certain thing that Naruto really believed in. It was that, you know, he didn't grow up with a family. And, you know, once he has one of his own, I doubt he would make the same mistake of giving them no father, even if he's still alive. And even though, and I love Boruto's character because he's a sass machine. That's hilarious. But honestly, I don't like how Naruto's written because I feel like he wouldn't necessarily be like that even if he was Hokage. Like, it's something that doesn't make sense to me, and he's like, oh, you call me Hokage when you're in my office. I'm like, really? That's your son. Like, that's something that bugs me, and don't get me wrong, he's my favorite.
He was the exact opposite when he was younger.
Exactly, and that was the thing, is like, when he had those experiences, he's just going to throw them out the window and basically play it as another third Hokage or whatever. No. That doesn't sit well with me, and that's the problem I have with it. Though I do love Boruto, and I love these new characters, some of them, it just doesn't make sense to change good characters when you could change the bad ones like Hinata, or Sasuke. You know, but
you
they
think
don't.
They were bad characters.
Oh, I could go on for hours. I hate Hinata Hyuga so much. Literally, like, least favorite anime character of all time.
Really?
Yes, it could be it could be literally a 2-hour-long podcast of why I don't like her. Like, I could write a thesis paper on it. But regardless of that, you know, they could have done something where they change these characters finally and give them something different and a different type of outlook on life. They've been through so much shit that they can't just continue being like, yeah, you know, whatever, I'm just going to ignore my son, or, oh, I'm just going to still be a brooding bastard, I'm going to be useless. They have the potential to really take this time skip and change their personalities, but they did it to the wrong characters. Like, Naruto should not be like that, and that's my point of view on it. But
that makes sense.
Anyway, regardless of that, the reason I was saying about Boruto not having a game is because the fan base might fall apart if they don't have the same feel they did growing up watching this show. And testing things into new waters with next generations and having these new characters, people aren't open to change unless they feel like it can still compete with the original. And even though it's a sequel or a spin-off, technically, there's a different outlook right now about the fans. Like, it's split down the middle. There are fans that love it, and then there's fans that really hate it. And
Boruto or
yeah,
Storm?
Boruto. And the thing is like, you can't make games based off something that's split down the middle, because there's going to be only half the people who buy it. They want to have full capacity.
That's
people
why
go out.
I'm wondering if once it gets far enough, if we'll get an anime with the same style that, you know.
Oh, it's getting an anime
Naruto
regardless.
I mean, because it's a Naruto franchise.
That's already been announced.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, they made a movie about Boruto.
I think it's too soon.
They made a movie about Boruto before the manga even was released, so that...
And the manga is retelling the movie first.
So, technically, they've already announced that they're going to do an anime about it. But the way that I see things is that if it doesn't compete and there's no reason to do it, it's just like any other random manga that you'll read and be like, this is great, and it doesn't have enough cult following to be like, let's make it an animation.
I really want them to animate the canon novels from the Naruto project.
That'd be nice.
And I was hoping that they were going to, but they announced that this was going to be the last season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why? It's not filler, and it'd be a perfect opportunity to waste some time for them to have more material to animate.
But that's the thing, is like, it costs money and people don't want to believe it's filler.
There's them making filler all the time.
But there's true. Here's the thing. Filler, though, it gives them time to really catch up and make sure that they're doing things right. And honestly, Naruto's filler I don't count as filler, and I tell this to everyone, because it still supplies background to things that are important.
Except when it clashes with canon, like the ice styles.
But even still, it still gives a different outlook. It's different timelines. You get different historical perspectives. There's things that clash with the canon that only certain characters knew, and then all of a sudden it's like, wow, that we were actually wrong. It's not clashing with canon. What it's doing is it's competing with canon. And if you don't treat it as canon, sure, you're like, yeah, it's just whatever, it's random, it doesn't make sense. But if you think like, wow, filler's actually giving background to certain characters in certain regions we don't get to hear about, like, why the fuck?
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Why the fuck would I want to hear? Why would I want to watch Naruto without all this historical background? That's the lore of it. It's just like you with Sonic. You like the lore of Sonic.
It's true.
It's not filler to me because it's lore that we get to experience.
I watch it. I watch the fillers and enjoy them. It's just I don't enjoy them as much when they just keep dragging on things that I don't want to see, like Like, I know this. We should be talking about games, but we're kind of in a Naruto discussion right now.
Yeah.
Like, there were some really bad fillers back in the day. Like, when there was this spoiled brat who was using a money style, like throwing money around. I love
that one.
It was funny, but, like, I didn't care. It was one of the worst fillers.
But here's the thing. Once again, it still gives it adds something to the lore that we don't know about. And that's what the filler is intending to do. It's not necessarily be like, we're going to pass time. No, to people
what they're intending to do is to make money.
That's not how I see it. Of course, they want to make money while doing it, but honestly, they're supplying background for things we don't get to read in the manga, things we don't get to see, they're only talked about. We don't get this rich lore that's full of different countries and different legions and different characters and different clans without this filler. And then people want to complain. They like play the games and like, oh, why isn't this in there? But they hate the fillers. Or they read through and like, oh, that's a cool jutsu style. Why didn't I see that? They didn't watch the filler because they think it's filler. That's a hypocrisy thing at that point, because there's people that are like, I don't want to watch filler because it's pointless. And then they go around and they're like, well, why is this thing? Where did this come from? That's really cool. Like, you don't just say that and then be like, oh, it's from the filler. No, like, you have to understand that there's a certain fan base to things. Like, it's like any Star Trek, Star Wars fan. They're going to go through and look through every game and every book and everything like that. Those aren't filler besides the movies. Those are background to the lore. And that's exactly what Naruto and any other anime has the right to do. Fill in the blanks for our minds to basically build from. If we're given a blank canvas of just there's fire, water, earth, wind, and stone countries, Naruto, there's Hokages here, Naruto has this style of, there's only these 5 styles, we don't get to explain the combination of jutsu elementals. We don't get to see the triple light dark side. We don't get to see antimatter type jutsu, crystal jutsu. Like, those things are really cool to grasp onto, and then you can build many different ideas of where this country has been formed from and where things go from. And people don't understand that it's not just filler, it's lore, and they're missing out on lore by just ignoring the filler.
Yeah, I mean, I made a timeline a while ago with trying to make a timeline out of the anime, and I was putting some of the movies in there, and some of them didn't fit at all.
Now, the movies are a different story.
Most of them fit.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that don't fit, I put Blood Prison and Road to Ninja. Mm-hmm. Blood Prison because, I mean, the Raikage has both of his arms, and what was it? What did I write here? Naruto recalled his meeting with Minato, which happened after Pain destroyed the Hidden Leaf, but at the same time, and he and Killer Bee know each other, which is not supposed to happen until after Naruto leaves the Hidden Leaf to meet Killer Bee, and right before and during the war. So the timeline was all messed up in that one. And Road to Ninja was just like an alternate version.
Which is what it was supposed to be.
What? Yeah, it was supposed to be an alternate.
It's not supposed to fit into the timeline. Like, I can't sit there and be like, yeah, in this random part of the country, yeah, Madara just decided to put these two in a random universe and be like, yeah, mess around, this will teach you. No, it was totally it was a fan service movie.
Yeah.
And that's what it was meant to be.
Totally outside like, what I write here. The Hidden Leaf Village seems to be intact rather than destroyed or in the midst of being rebuilt as a result of Pain's attack. Yet the Pain imposter is present when the Akatsuki seemingly returns, and as mentioned, have already been dead with the rest of the group. Naruto has already met Killer Bee and knows how to enter the Nine-Tails Chakra mode, which is supposed to have happened during the preparations of and into the beginning of the Fourth Shinobi World War. Toby's still wearing his mask from before the Fourth Shinobi World War, so he seemingly has yet to take the Rinnegan and kill Konan. Yet the Konan imposter is present when the Akatsuki seemingly returns, as mentioned, have already been dead with the rest of the group. So it's just like it just totally does not fit.
But like I'm saying, the movies themselves are not meant. The movies are not meant to fit in. Some of them do, but
most of them do.
Yeah, but the point is that they're not supposed to. They're there for fan service. The way I see movies, especially after the atrocity that was the last Naruto movie.
You didn't like that?
No, I hated that movie. It was poorly written Naruhina fan fiction.
Well, it was supposed to be a love story,
but it wasn't a good one. Because there were so many different character traits that were ignored, and so many different plot points that were ignored. And that's the thing. When the movies are just supposed to be there to tide people over, that's what they are. They're action-filled.
That seems to be the theme of this episode.
Yeah, and
of our podcast, tiding over.
Well, I mean, if you look at the last Naruto movie, I'll go into it briefly because I'm not going to spend another hour talking about what's all wrong with it. Long story short, they totally ignore the fact of a couple of very important scenes or moments in the plot of the series. Naruto just doesn't like Sakura just because Sasuke does. That's something that was explained, that he does like her because he thinks that she's pretty and that she's his type. But that's just normal anime love story thing.
I think
Let me finish.
Okay.
Because you're interrupting me again.
Okay.
But because I'm getting into it, so I'm just going to go briefly because I want to just pass up this topic, but I'll say it really quick. That's a general love story thing, and so is the Naruto Hinata love story. It's the generic main character ignores girl that loves him. She's super shy, and finally they fall in love together. I knew that was going to happen. I watched Claynad. I hated that show. That was terrible, in my opinion. But here's where my problem is. Hinata could be an amazing character. She is literally the heiress to this. She's the clan head, basically the princess of the Hyuga clan. On top of that, she has a similar style to Neji, but it's all wasted on this stupid, shy, sheepish trope that they can't get rid of on her. And she has tons of time to break out of this. The time skip between Naruto and Shippuden. She grows up, she looks a lot more confident, but they still give her this shy demeanor, and it's explained that she doesn't feel confident around him. That's cool.
Well, but that's just her personality.
But the thing is when your personality changes like some other characters, there's development. There's such a thing as a dynamic character. If you make them all one thing at once, there's no room to grow. And that's what happened with Hinata. She literally is the same thing all throughout the series, and I don't like that because she could be so much better. A better fighter. Like, when she tried to go against Pain, I was like, oh my gosh, she's actually standing up for herself. But she only does it because she wants to admit that she loves Naruto, which I'm like, oh, I saw this coming. And then she gets her ass kicked, and I wanted her to die because that was a dumb move. There was a time or place for a lot of different things. Now, on top of that, when you see the last Naruto movie, it gives this background to Naruto and Hinata's relationship that really didn't frickin' exist. Because it doesn't make sense to be like, oh yeah, they were friends when they were younger. No, they weren't. Because there's a certain level.
I didn't say they were friends. They just interacted.
But that's the thing, is they tried to push it as like, yeah, they had love back then too. She was, oh yeah, they were all this. They tried to shove it down your throat. There's a certain way to write love stories, and the fact that they ignored the idea that Naruto loved Sakura and he just agreed with it. The fact that Hinata didn't like tell him that she loved him. Like, basically the whole time she's like, yeah, I'll tell him. And I'm like, didn't you already do that? And he was totally oblivious still. I'm like, bitch, what? This doesn't make sense, because this is after the events of the Fourth Ninja War. So when you look at the Fourth Ninja War manga, they were holding hands, they were there for each other. That's not just like, oh yeah, whatever, we're friends.
The biggest thing for me in agreeing with you is that she admitted to him that she loved him.
Yes, twice.
So how did he forget that?
Twice. Now, on top of that...
What was the second time?
Well, one was Pain, and during the Ninja War, it was basically spelled out to him, and even Neji said it before he died, was that he needed to take care of her always, and he's like, yeah, I will, and all that type of thing. That's basically saying, this is not a friendship, this is a partnership. And that was like, you know what, I'm okay with this. But this movie was unnecessarily romantic in the sense that it was way too cheesy and didn't make sense. The big problem I had with it was they made Hinata still wimpy. She has all this ability. First of all, she's holding onto a scarf and falling off a building that's ripping, and she can't chakra to her feet and walk up the building. I mean, that was the thing that you learned in ninja school.
Thing that I get annoyed about. They always seem to forget that they can walk on walls.
No, on top of that, she gets kidnapped when she could easily wake up in that guy's arms and then chakra like 8 trigrams in his fucking arms and get rid of him. Yeah. That's a possibility. She relies on him way too much, and they made her a damsel in distress like she's always been. And that makes me so mad. Then all of a sudden Naruto's like, yeah, I love you too. No. And it was predictable. It's like, watch them go through the ceiling and kiss in the sky, and that's how it's going to end. Oh, look, it happened. What it was fan service for the diehard Naruhina fans that love mushy, cheesy shit. For the people that wanted, like, an actual timeline of, like, yeah, I want to know how they fell in love, but at the same time, I want to see this whole idea of how we get to where it was in chapter 700 or whatever. That's not what happened. What happened was we got a pointless villain, a really lazy backstory and a lazy story with really wasted character tropes, and on top of that, they threw away major character development points like Sakura, Naruto, and Hinata, and then they misused Sasuke.
Well,
so
what I wanted to say before was, I think that the reason he kind of overlooked Sakura was because he started to actually realize what love was when he was with Hinata.
No, nuh-uh. Now, that's a good idea. I like that because that does make sense in the sense of that, but the way I
think that's what they were going for.
But they didn't do it right.
Okay, but I think that's what they were at least going for.
Yeah, and I could see that, but the thing is that they literally played it off, and her dialogue was, you only love me because of Sasuke, right? And he agreed with her.
Wait, what did he love her because of?
Yeah, because he was like, the only reason you were after me is because you didn't want to lose to Sasuke, right? Oh. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I thought he actually...
No, that was exact dialogue. Like, you could look back to that movie and you could see...
Did Kishimoto write this or
I don't know.
write it?
I don't know. And you know,
hope he didn't.
I kind of want to see that, because it doesn't make sense, especially when Kishimoto described back in the while back during like the early stages of the Shippuden, is that he believed Naruto and Sakura would be a good couple for each other, and that was what he was writing into the story. But because of all this other stuff with Hinata, you know, it was a more obvious choice to go with. And honestly, I saw it coming, but this movie was unnecessarily fan service. Like, but it wasn't in the right way. Like, it was bad fan fiction is how I describe it. I bought the movie, spent $20 on it, went home on Naruto's birthday, made myself ramen and everything, and sat down and watched it with a friend.
Where was I? I should have been there with you.
I know, you live across the country.
I know. Okay, the story concept and character designs were created by Kishimoto, but the script was written by someone else.
Okay, see? Now, there's the problem, is that I sat down and watched it expecting, like, to be, like, seeing this last movie, I was going to be emotional. I was pissed the whole time. Because
I really liked it, but...
And you know what? Everybody was like, yeah, I like the idea of Hinata and Naruto as a cute love story. I'm like, no. There's a difference between, like, a cute love story that works, and there's a difference between a cute love story that just seems forced. And there was a lot of character things that were forgotten that were just forced upon Naruto. Like, you can't just go 700 episodes, 700 chapters, and then say that Naruto only liked Sakura because he wanted to compete with Sasuke. Which is completely logical, but that makes Naruto a dick. On top of that, like,
yeah, I guess
but
you have to remember, they're all kids.
But still, at this point in time, he's what, 20?
No, not at that point.
No,
I think they're probably maybe like 18.
No, because Naruto's like 18 during the war.
By the end of Shippuden, they're only like maybe 16.
No, because they even talked about his. No, they even talked about his birthday. Like, the time he was 16 was the first time he talked to Minato, and then a year has passed since then, so at least 17. But even still, there's a time skip, and there are at least 20 because he's a Jonin at this time, and he has his own, like, training regimen. He has to be older than that, because in actual Boruto, he's 33. That's how old he is.
Yeah, but that's Boruto.
But you got to look at the time skip there. What's the difference? If it's only been 7 years, how old is Boruto? 13?
Okay, in part two, during part two, or all of part two, it's 15 to 17 years old.
Okay, see?
So,
but then you look at the time skip, and then if Hinata and Naruto got married right after the events of Last Ninja, like the last Naruto movie, then that means 13 years has passed. That's about 33 years old, so he has to be 20. He has to be. Because he's 33 in Boruto, so that puts Boruto at age 13.
You're also assuming that they had Boruto at 20.
But that's highly possible. It really is. But even still, if they didn't, they've been married for that long. So if that does put him at like 18 or 19, that still puts him at an age where he's not just like, yeah, whatever. It's still like, whatever. He still should be enamored with this girl.
I'm sure they have contraception.
Yeah.
That's the word. In the ninja world.
But the thing is that they're building a clan. That's not the thing they want to do. If they're married, they want to build their clan. They're not going to have...
They probably want to make sure that they're... they probably just don't want to have a kid right away as soon as they get married. But yeah, I could be wrong. But
you got to think of it in the point that I'm trying to say is like,
yeah,
you have to remember that they're not dumb though. They're not just kids. I mean, these guys are basically adults at the age of 16 because they are fighting wars that the adults are fighting. And on top of that, they know they don't make Naruto out to be like, yeah, he even like wants to go on a date with her and he wants to get to know her and all this other stuff. And it's not just because of Sasuke, because Sasuke's not around most of the time. During the second half of Naruto, he's already been gone, and he still goes. Boruto. He still wants to go on a date with her, and he comes back, and Sasuke's not there. He still likes her. So how can you say, "Oh yeah, I don't really like you because of Sasuke"? Sasuke's not involved in the picture. So that's a major thing you have to look at. But anyway, we could talk about this a whole another. We have 2 minutes left, so let's talk about one other gaming thing. Yeah, it's already almost an hour.
Well, we could have more than an hour.
Well, I can't. It's already 9 o'clock almost.
We didn't even talk about games.
Yes, we did. We talked about Sonic. We talked about Metal Gear, and we talked about Resident Evil again a little bit.
We did?
Yes, we did. Yeah, because you brought up Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. And,
okay, I brought it up, but we didn't really talk about it.
Yeah, but we talked about the Naruto game and how good it was, and then diversion to this. So, if we want to talk about Kingdom Hearts really quick, we can. But I don't know what we would talk about with Kingdom Hearts. But we did get one question. I guess we can answer it really quick.
Yeah.
Basically,
somebody I actually know.
yeah, it's just the same. Oh, you got one from someone you know?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you read it then, because I didn't get something then. I got something different.
Oh, so do we have 2 questions?
I guess, but I think we've answered this like every episode, so I'm pretty positive. So what's your question that you got?
This question comes from Deftbeck on Twitter.
Yes,
says,
Michael.
what is your favorite video game song to sing in the car?
You go first, because I have to think about it.
I have to think about it, because I usually sing... I usually just listen to the same crap over and over again in the car, and it's usually from Metalocalypse or from Devil Driver.
Mm-hmm.
I usually will sing along with the it's not video game related, but I'll usually sing along with the clock opera, which is like
nice.
the Doomstar Requiem.
Yeah.
Because I love that, and I can think of soundtracks that I like from in video games.
Mine, I know what mine is.
Sometimes I'll catch myself singing the opening theme song from Kingdom Hearts 2.
That's a good Sanctuary.
Yeah, my Sanctuary.
Yeah, I was gonna say Simple and Clean is one of them. Nuclear from Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh yeah.
I like Want You Gone from Portal 2. I sing that pretty loudly. Or Regarding Your Brains from Left 4 Dead 2. Those are a couple, I would say. But I listen to a lot of different music. I mostly shout anime songs more than video game, because most of the video game music I listen to is instrumental. So, but yeah, good question, Deftback.
You know, I just realized we didn't even ask each other what we played this week.
Oh, literally, I've been playing the same thing, but I did add the original Paper Mario to my list.
Oh, that's right. You were telling me last night that you were playing it.
Yeah, I was playing it, and it's really fun because I got on Virtual Console on my Wii U. So I've been playing that, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, and I've been playing Ikaruga. So
what's that?
Ikaruga's a bullet hell game on the GameCube. Really difficult. Really, really
You've been
difficult.
playing a lot of GameCube lately.
Oh yeah, I got rid of my next gen consoles except for my Wii U, and I've been playing retro.
What do you mean you got rid of your next gen?
Like
systems?
I just sold them to people that wanted them more.
Wait, so why didn't you want them?
Just because it was way too much of a money pit currently for me, and I was content with playing my retro stuff because it made me feel a sense of nostalgia and I was enjoying games
you don't
again.
Have a PS4 anymore?
No, I don't.
So how are you going to play Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out?
I'll get it on an Xbox. Because I'll get my Xbox One back.
Oh yeah, you have an Xbox.
I'll get it back, because when I move, I'm probably going to get a PS4 again for Uncharted 4. But I'll probably get an Xbox because I want Doom, too.
Oh, I've been meaning to say this for the past maybe month, but they were talking about crossplay with the 360 and the PS4. And if that's true, that means that we could play Naruto together.
You mean the Xbox One and PS4?
Yeah.
You said 360.
I meant that.
I was like, wow, that'd be quite the crossplay. No, they already decided that that's going to be a thing. They started that a bit, testing it. I know Xbox did when they had the 360 still, and they were doing Destiny, as well as Minecraft. So that was a thing, but I know that Sony and Microsoft are probably going to announce how it's going to work during E3, which is next month. So we're going to have a gaming podcast about E3.
Yes.
A live podcast about
I'm
E3.
excited because that means that I could play Naruto with you.
Yes.
Like
yes.
that was like the first thing that came to my mind. I was like, yes, I could play Storm 4 with Kiba.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know anybody else who really plays that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't even care if like I get my ass kicked to you. It's just like I could
It's
finally
fun.
play with somebody I know who enjoys this. Though if I get my ass kicked to you, I'd be a little annoyed because then I'd rather us be equal.
I don't know how you play, so I won't say anything, but I'll just say that I'm probably the best one in this entire state.
Okay, well, I'm not in your state. So.
I know, so I don't know. That might be a little cocky to say, but I'm pretty good at the game. I'm pretty good at it.
I'm pretty good, but when I play online with people, I play some people. Sometimes people will kick my ass, and other times people will be like really bad, and I'll kick their ass. But then you get your spammers, and I
Yep,
hate the
spammers.
spammers.
That's mostly what I get online, so I just play my friends and.
As long as you're not a spammer,
Oh no.
I'll be like, I'll be okay because even if you kick my ass, by constantly playing with you, I'll get better.
See, I'm the type that likes to drain your substitutions. I know how to do it very well. And then
I
once you're trapped in my combo, I basically use up my chakra bar until about half by just continuously doing getting you into the air by combo and then punching you up and then
Oh yeah,
chakra dash,
and then
chakra
you
dash,
cancel,
chakra dash, and then
cancel.
finally when I'm up there, I can finish the combo and get like a 72 hit combo and
I
then knock
kind
you
of
to the
do that
ground.
too.
And that's not
Some
spamming, but
characters-
that's
no, that's legit
yeah.
pro playing right there. But I'm actually like I find some characters easier to do that with than others. I had like quite a few characters I was jumping around back and forth with, but I don't even remember who my best character is anymore. I just like picking characters I like, and then I start to get a feel for who I'm best with.
Yeah.
And it's been so long that I don't even remember. I remember kind of I was enjoying playing with one of the Sasuke's. Because there's a million Sasuke's and a million Naruto's.
Yes, a million
And
Sasuke's.
I always
unfortunately.
enjoy playing as the which number is he? Fourth, I think, the fourth Kazekage.
Yeah. Oh,
I forget
the fourth.
his actual
You mean
name.
the
Gaara's father.
yeah, Gaara's father, fourth Kazekage. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
He has a name, but they don't use it in the game. I think
Yeah.
it's Yora or something like that. Which, oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, what would be your opinion on them adding filler characters to the Storm games?
I'd be so down. You don't
Me too.
understand how fast I would play as like a crystal user, or like
That's exactly what I was gonna
Yeah.
say. Because,
Oh.
Gurren is my favorite
Yeah.
filler character.
yeah, like oh, do you understand? Like I would love that. And on top of that, I want to play some characters that necessarily like, for example, I loved that they added Kushina into the game. Just because, you never got to see her as a ninja unless you watch Road to Ninja or some of the older stuff. But like having her use a frying pan as a weapon, that kills me. And just like the idea of having those type of characters, like I would play the hell out of playing as Inari, like from the bridge building arc. That'd be cool.
Yeah, but he wasn't filler.
But I mean, like, not just talking about filler, but like characters like that where it was just like they were important to the story, but you never see them again. Like, I would love to, or play as a Biki. Like,
I'm still waiting for a Zetsu.
right? That's what I've been waiting for is Zetsu.
Now that we know more about them, they would just play more interestingly. They could kind of separate in their combos.
Yeah.
And maybe White Zetsu would be a little more goofballish in his attacks, while Black Zetsu is the one who's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll finish it,
Yeah. Well, I
But,
think, what I think we
Brasa
should
was his
do.
name.
Yeah, Bros.
With Kazekage.
Oh, nice. I forgot. Yeah. God. I would
Yeah,
love to play.
in Storm 3 or whatever was the one that came out before 4, and I say that questionably because I know they had like Revolution and Revolution 2, so I don't know which one
Revolution.
that came out after 3.
Yeah.
Okay, when you were able to create your own character, I was basically using Rasa, and I was putting a mask on and like the cloak or whatever, and
Yep.
I was like, yeah, just using gold dust.
Oh, God.
And Crispin Freeman voices him.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's just such a sexy voice. It's just like,
But, I think, honestly, next episode, we should start with Naruto's The Game, rather than the anime, and actually talk about our favorite fighting style and stuff like that. But we're almost
that means I might have to actually play it just to get.
Yeah, you might have to.
I might have to actually just to get a reminder. But I mean, I remember stuff. There are things I could talk about.
Yeah,
like things I do and don't like fighting, and
we could talk about fighting games in general.
Yeah, I usually don't like them unless I don't know. I'm very picky with fighting games.
See, we could talk about that whole entire thing. I think that's what we should start with next episode. Is what we
Fighting
like
games?
about what we don't like and what we like about them, and why maybe you don't play them, or maybe why we love playing them. Because it seems like we have two different opinions on fighting games. Because I love them. Like
I love them too, but I get annoyed with the competition, the competitive.
So we can even
nature.
talk about competitive gaming too. So
which is what I appreciate. I haven't played it yet, but I appreciate what Street Fighter was aiming for with a more, with a friendlier, what's the word I'm looking for? Basically, making it easier for people to jump into the competitive.
Well, they went back to the Street Fighter 2 format. So
yeah,
that's why they changed up so it was easier to do combos for some people, but still challenging for older players.
Yeah, I appreciate what they were aiming for because myself, I usually fight with the controller, like trying to get it to
Yeah.
work and trying to get combos done. Like I absolutely love Guilty Gear, but when I was playing it back in the day, so many times I would just try to pull off combos. Like I'm pressing the buttons, but the specials aren't going off. I'm just like, why is this not working?
Okay. Yeah. So we'll talk about that next episode. I
Okay,
think because we're at an hour 10 right now.
that's all right.
It's gonna be a
I
huge
listen to
file.
podcasts that could be longer than that, but
Oh well,
yeah,
yeah. But we want to keep it consistent.
eh.
Because honestly, I want to do longer podcasts during E3 because we could do live reactions to E3 as it's going.
Unless we're working.
Oh, I doubt we. I'm not. I'm gonna be like, I have all the day off. Sorry, every day for the week. Peace.
But like, who's going to be at E3 this year? Like Nintendo is just showing Zelda.
But that's still a big thing. Like, do you know how long people have waited to see something like from Zelda from Nintendo? Like, that's gonna be
Big.
huge. And at Microsoft, Sony, they have to announce their new VR systems and display it.
Microsoft annoys me.
I love Microsoft.
They're killing Conker, and they've already killed Banjo and Kazooie. I would
okay.
absolutely love if we could get JonTron on here and talk with him about
Well,
that.
hey, maybe we can email him and talk to him about it. I can work my magic, maybe.
Maybe I already emailed him
Oh,
to
good.
ask about it.
Good.
But if you can, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Well, hey, I think that's all the time we have for today.
Yep. Where can you find us, guys? Obviously, this is going to come up on YouTube. I was thinking of putting it back on SoundCloud. Problem is, SoundCloud will only show the most recent uploads unless I get like a pro membership, which I don't feel like buying.
Yeah.
And other than that, you could follow me on Drew Maru Comics on Twitter with an underscore between Drew Maru and Comics. Kiba, how about you?
Yeah, on Twitter you can follow me at Kiba Walker VA. And yeah, so that's where you can find me, or you can go ahead and like our Facebook page, GG Gaming, and all that good stuff. So yeah.
I'm just looking real quick to see if that's the same as my Instagram. Yeah, Instagram is also Drew Maru underscore comics.
Drew, my Instagram is Kiba the Cute with a K. So
I think my Tumblr might be different. I post a lot on my Instagram. I post a lot about my comic. I'll show work in progress stuff. You can look at my comic on Facebook.com.
which you guys should because it's awesome.
Thank you. Guys could download the new issue. I have the first 3 issues up through on Indie Planet. You can find the link on the Facebook page, and you could download the digital copies for free, or you can actually buy printed copies. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing I can do about the price to an extent because it covers the printing and the shipping on Indie Planet's behalf. But hey, if you want to support the comic by buying one, or if you just want to have a physical copy, then go ahead and buy it. No one seems to have done that so far.
Yeah. Well, hey, I will. I'm gonna try when I get paid again. I will definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Buy one because it's great, and you guys should definitely check it out.
I know that episode we have a motion comic of it too, which is where Kiba comes in as voice acting for one of the characters. But episode 3 and I believe episode 4 started actually the animation for it.
Oh, good.
I don't know how far along it is for episode 3 because I'm not the one animating it. But every time I check, with the person animating it, he says it's coming along. So at the same time, I'm looking for 4 or 5 voices for. Yeah, I think there's 5 voices for 5 characters. I've gotten I've gotten a lot of auditions. I have my mind sort of set on a couple of characters, but I'm still taking auditions if anybody.
So if you're looking for a voiceover job, make sure to check out
It's not
Spirit
really
Legends.
a job because I can't pay. But
it's still a
unless
job.
you can get people to donate to the Patreon.
See, that's a different conversation for another day.
But all right, we went on long enough about that.
Yeah.
I want to work on it as a job.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm tired of working where I work right now. Not making money doing what I want and what I went to school for. But we all got to start somewhere.
Yep. All right.
Alrighty, so we will talk again next week, hopefully.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, I stopped that.